Since gaining its independence, Uganda has experienced successive violent conflicts in most regions of the country. While there is no active war, women and children remain disproportionately affected by the long-term impact of violent conflicts, as they have to bear the brunt effects of violence in form of displacement, poverty, injustices, among others.
We've received very generous support from the Government of Norway since 2018 for the first phase of a program that's looking at women, peace and security in Uganda. And over this period up until 2021, we saw great success with this program, great impact being made, and now we're moving into the second phase of this program. But some of the partners that we've worked with in that first phase that have really led to the great results that we've been working with are the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Macquarie University through the Peace Centre, the Rotary Peace Centre, as well as women's rights organisations such as Women's International Peace Centre and the Coalition for Action on 1325.
These activities have brought together key actors, actors from the government, actors from civil society organizations, also actors from the academia. The NAP makes a very strong commitment to advance all the core pillars of 1325. This is something that really showed the commitment of all actors, including endorsement from His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda.
Norway has strongly advocated for 1325 from the beginning, and this continues to be a key foreign policy priority for Norway. And UN Women has been and will continue to be a close partner in some of the most important processes we are involved in.
The overall goal of NAP 3 is to ensure sustained peace and security through enhanced and meaningful participation of women in peace and development processes.
So the third National Action Plan on Women, Peace and Security is unique in such a way that we are mobilizing from the grassroots to the national level. Another area that prompted us to develop our third National Action Plan on Women, Peace and Security is in terms of ensuring that women play a critical role in peace building, including the peace missions. Uganda has been sending out peace missions in Somalia, in Burundi, in Western Africa and other countries. And we feel that as women, we need to be part of that process.
UN Women has implemented the localization strategy to strengthen the capacity of local authorities to contextualize, design and implement policies and strategies that address the issues that undermine the peace and security of women and girls in their communities. Through this strategy, the district local governments of Amuria, Kaberamaido, Kasese, Yumbe, Kitugum and Chegegwa developed local action plans that address the specific conflict issues in their local communities.
NAP 2 was interested into resolving into women, peace and security, having us locally see what are the conflicts that currently is existing in the districts, and how do we put in structures to help us curb the conflicts. So we sat in a number of meetings, we did a lot of panel beating, to the extent that we now came out with our objectives, we now came out with our implementation plan, and key among them was how do we empower our own structures to handle issues of conflicts. We are also looking at how do we make more women and youth come into leadership, participate in making decisions that concern them, and more especially we are interested in how can socio-economic transformation be carried out, or how do our women participate in socio-economic transformation?
To harness a social-economic recovery and political participation of women and girls in conflict and post-conflict situations, UN Women worked closely with implementing partners like the Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs to ensure increased access to justice for survivors of conflict.
This relationship has enabled us to build capacity within our structures and institutions for us to do gender budgeting, gender planning, and other aspects of that. Now, one of the other enabling factors I would say is that through the call center, automated, we've been able to generate issues, particularly women calling in on their pension issues, their issues of gender-based violence, that they call over. So through that, we then provide referral pathway. How can you be helped for help? But also, most importantly, is that we've been able to establish our own legal aid clinic for provision of pro bono services, legal pro bono services to poor veterans, widows, and orphans. And these issues have, to a large extent, been on issues of land, succession rights, issues of procurement of letters of administration, and so forth and so on.
The project also built capacity of refugee women to participate in peace building and recovery planning processes.
We had our first training by International Peace Center. Then we started working together. You know, now as women, we agreed together that a woman will remain a woman. Whether you are a refugee, whether you are a host community, educated, uneducated, you will remain a woman, and the challenges you face are all the same. So there is need for us as women to show to the other community that we live together. What we have been doing mainly is, as a peace mediator, what you do is you identify within your community what conflicts are there. And if there are conflicts, how do you resolve these conflicts? You go into this conflict, identify with these people, and begin talking with them until when you bring them at the same level.
I learned a lot. That thing built confidence in myself. I came back during the campaign season. I stand as the chairperson of the village. I went it through. It really helped me how I can lead the community. Like women, I need to talk to them. They should not sit down in case if they face challenge. Like me, I'm a peace mediator. In case of anything, they have to come to me. Then I will involve RWC1 also. We shall still solve their problems because I learned how to solve their problems at home, the minor cases. Now, if it is the cases of SGBV, I'll immediately refer the parliament. I will not touch on these things. But the minor, I do solve them. I have the knowledge of it.
Right now, as we talk really, the Turkana and the GA, it is very rare that few people, like 2, 3, maybe they go and steal the cows and come with, or maybe they come from Turkana, they steal something and they go with. But real raiding, it has already stopped because the mediation we are really helping, which is really helping us really. And all this happened because of the seminars and the trainings with the peace initiative, like the peace center was doing for us.
The project, through its implementing partner, Coalition for Action, CORACT, trained 67 youth peace ambassadors on youth engagement in peace and security. In Yumbe district, for example, the youth peace ambassadors engaged in monitoring human rights violations at community level and reported up to 195 cases through the toll-free line established by CORACT during the COVID-19 lockdown.
So we were trained 7 from the district. When we reached on the ground here, we formed, with support from CORACT, we formed a community-based organization Rwenzori Youth Peace Builders Development Organization. Then we slowly by slowly we started running out our work plans. One of our work plans was a mitigation on the floods. You know, with floods, of course, in Kasese couldn't have peace, and with this river Nyamwamba that was affecting us, so one of the activities we decided to do with the community members around, with the help of the local district, here we were able to plant a good number of bamboo trees along River Nyamwamba, which has really affected. The banks have been bursting and dispersing people from their homes, and here we see ladies being affected most.
I went to Kaberamaido district, where I'm the peace ambassador, and trained these girls on how to have self-confidence, how to stand out for themselves. I counseled and guided them resettlement and mediation of these girls, because since we were dealing with adolescents, these girls engaged into sexuality at a very young age because they lack counseling and guidance. When we trained them, they were able to stay in school and resettle.
Cultural and religious leaders were key stakeholders in promoting the project agenda. At least 85 religious and cultural leaders from Busoga and Rwenzori sub-region participated in training for duty bearers and rights holders on women, peace and security, and demonstrated their commitment to the agenda by developing a 5-year action plan and establishing an implementation committee for the same.
And so we participated fully looking at our issues. What is that is affecting us? What is that bringing the violence in our community? And so it wasn't one man's idea, but it was at least from all corners of life in Kasese district here. And so thanks to COACT that we were part in the formation of the local action plan.
We have kind of improved the way we mainstream the issues of security, peace and security for women. We have put plans which are more clear and focused, other than how we have been doing it in our cultural setup. It is now very clear the agenda that we need to move and popularize the resolution 1325. More than the way we did before. Before we had peace builders, peacemakers, but they were not very focused. We were just calling them Senga or what, but now the role is very clear after the UN women training. Their roles are cut clear compared to what it was before. And we know that this is going to be focused on women and also making sure that the girl child is protected.
Despite these achievements, more needs to be done to ensure there is an enabling environment for implementation of commitments on women, peace and security. Over the next 4 years, UN Women, with funding from the Government of Norway, will support the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development to implement the 3rd National Action Plan on Women, Peace and Security.
Looking to the next phase of this Women, Peace and Security programme, we've received great and very generous support from the Government of Norway to implement a programme from this year up into 2026, so for 4 years, focusing on the implementation of Uganda's National Action Plan on Women, Peace and Security. And the real focus of this programme is looking at ensuring women's participation and benefit from peace and security in Uganda. Here we're looking at working in 15 districts across Uganda, looking at in these districts targeting critical issues to do with transitional justice by working to implement the transitional justice policy, as well as looking at issues to do with prevention of violent extremism, as well as climate change and the conflict triggers within climate change and how to address this, as well, and finally looking at the systems and structures that are there to be supported to actually implement this agenda at a national level, but at a local level as well.